Hello Year 7, today we're going to look at two new communication skills that we can use with any type of 3D drawing, and these are enhancements and thick and thin lines. Now an enhancement is where we do something to make the work look a little bit more obvious, make it stand out, make it pop. And to do that we're going to create almost an aura around the outside of it, and we're going to use a nice bright colour to do so. Once we've done that, we're going to add something called thick and thin lines. And thick and thin lines is another technical way of showing that an item is 3D by having lines of definition and lines of boundary. And those are the two types of lines we'll use. And there's a number of ways of showing that. I'm going to explain the very technical, boring but obvious way of doing it. So we're going to start off with the enhancement. And for enhancement, you want to create a shadow or a boundary around your work to really make it pop and stand out. If you've got a page full of designs, this is a great way of making the one you want to work with or some of your favourite designs really stand out. I'm going to use a really contrasting, obvious colour. And the best way to use enhancements is with contrasting, obvious colours. Something that's not included in your design anywhere. So a nice bright colour. Don't go dark, go light. Go bright, go bold, really make it stand out. And what you're going to do is you're just going to create a shadow all the way around it, but an even one. So I'm just going to shade, nice and gently, using the same shading skills as before. So I'm holding the pencil nice and gently, my pencil is nice and sharp. And I'm just going to create an echo of the shape, almost like a shadow, following it all the way around. It hasn't got to be anything perfect, it's not a specific style. It's not got to be a specific depth, because it's all going to be relevant to the actual shape you're drawing, but you're just going around the outside and you're just giving it sort of a nice boundary of this really weird colour. You can get a little bit creative with it. You haven't got to stick with straight lines, so I've got some straight lines, I'm going to curve it round. A bit more around here maybe. And it's just about filling in that just outside bit there, and it gives it a little bit of definition. And if you look at my design here, all I've done is spent less than a minute with a little bit of a bright colour pencil, and this work is now really standing out. It's really good, especially when you compare it to the one that is next to it. That now stands out, you can see that, makes it a bit more obvious. It's a very subtle technique, but it takes your work to another level using a very basic skill. It's a very basic skill, and yet you can make your work look so much better with it. And the neater you get with this, the more creative you get with it, the more amazing thing you can do. But remember, we're just sticking to the outside, and the outside leads me nicely onto the next technique we're going to look at, which is thick and thin lines. Now for thick and thin lines, we use two different thicknesses. I'm going to use a biro to represent my thin line, and I'm going to use a very thin board marker to represent my thick line. And they want to be distinctly different. If you don't have access to two thicknesses of pen, you can just use the biro and do the biro, but repeat it a few times and make it thick. And we're going to take our time with this. Now, I'm going to do everything in a thin line first. So everything in the biro first. And I'm going to get my rule. So we're going to do nice straight lines, nice and accurate. I'm just going to go over everything in my thin line. And my personal preference is to just do all of one type of line first and then the other, because I'm not drawing it, I'm just going over it, I'm tracing it. This is a nice opportunity as well to see if you've missed anything. So because you're going over your work, you might find something you've missed. And now I'm going to I'll do my horizontals next. This one. Take your time with it, get it accurate, don't rush this. And now I'm going to do my diagonals, join everything up. Oh, my biro didn't work right there. There we go. So I'm just taking my time with it, going through bit by bit. Don't press too hard with this. Same sort of force you'd use when you're, I missed the line there, when you're just writing on a document. Just nice and gentle, just make it distinct and clear. There we go. And just by doing that, it really makes my work stand out as well. because the dark lines contrast with this bright bold colour and you can really make it pop. I've missed a line. Missing lines bugs me. Now, I'm going to add my definition line, my boundary line. The definition lines here give definition to your work and make it look really obvious that it is a deliberate part of the design. If it's a pencil line and not a black line, it might be detail or accidental, but if it's done in pen, you know it's deliberate and that's what's supposed to be there. The boundary lines show the parts of the 3D object we can't see behind, and that's really important. So we draw our lines on our edges, and if we look at this top edge here, we need to see, can we see both sides that are attached to the edge? Every edge will have two sides attached to it. So we've got one side here, but we can't see the other side. That becomes a boundary. And because it's a boundary, we are going to put a thick line there. There's a boundary, we can't see past it. And we're going to do that for all of them around here. And a little life hack for you, the outside boundary will always be a boundary. So to start off with, always go around the outside of your shape. If you're using a pen like mine here, be careful to peel your ruler off the page, don't drag it away, because you can see up here, I dragged it and it smudged a little bit. So some of these pens can be a little bit inky. So you're going to be careful with that. So I'm just taking my time, one at a time here, and just going to let some of it dry while I move it around, because this pen is very liquidy. Very difficult to work with. There are better pens you can use, I just couldn't find any to hand when I was making this video. You can get deliberate fine liners with very fine tips, and you can get them in various different thicknesses. So we've got some medium ones and fine ones here, but I can only find the medium ones at the moment. I think the fine ones have all run out for all the GCC work. There we go, so I've gone around the outside boundary. And on my design here, I now need to look at each line and say, is it definition or boundary? So this line here, I can see both sides attached to the edge, that's definition. This one here is the same, I can see both sides. This one I can see both sides. Here I can see both sides. I can see both sides, I can see both sides. So all of them, I can see both sides here, I can see both sides here, I can see both sides here. But this line here, I can't see the other edge, the other side attached to that edge. So that edge there becomes thick. It might seem quite strange, this technique, but it is a technical skill. So identify which is a boundary line, which is a definition line, which one you can see past, which one you can't see past. So I'm going to do this one over here again. And this one again, it's got the same principles to it. I'm going to do all of my outside in my thin line, my biro. I'm going to do all the way around. You don't want to rush this, you want to take your time with it, you want to get it right. So work through it. No, it's fun. I might speed up a bit of the video to be fair. So I've got all of my lines almost done now. And there we go. That's all my definition lines done. Now I need to add the boundary lines to it. So the boundary lines are where we can't see the second side on that edge. So let's start with the first rule, which is always go around the outside boundary. Going around the outside boundary here. A technique that you might want to use if you can is if you place one finger underneath your rule and hold the edge on there, you can lift up without having that smudging effect. Sometimes. So let's go around this outside edge here, and that's the outside bit's done. But now we've got to look, are there any others that have got that extra level of definition. Well, this one here, you can see both sides attached to the edge, is fine. This one, both sides. This one, both sides. Here, well, hold on a minute, I can't see what's underneath that line. There's a side under that edge, so I need to make that a definition one, a boundary one, sorry. And the same on this side here. This becomes a boundary because I can't see what's past it. And some of you might be thinking, well, hold on a minute, you've got a gap back there, but you can see what's past there. But I can't see the actual side. I can see the edge, and I can see that that's going to join up with it. I know, I can figure that out, but I can't see the side. And then I've got to do these two in here. Now this is not an artistic style, this is a technical communication style, so it might not look artistically right to some of you, but technically this is accurate. And this is something that we can do in technical communication to show where boundaries are and where definition is, where edges are and where edges end. So this is thick and thin line and a little bit of enhancement as well. This leads on from everything we've been doing. I'm going to give you some more images to work with. I would like you to pick a selection that will be in the assignment and show me these drawn in oblique. I'm judging your enhancing skills and your thick and thin line skills. Okay, good luck guys.